All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. I'm going to go look at something real quick to see if I'm coming through on X with the title. All right, so this is when you look at a lot of veterans benefits and things such as that, you'll see a lot of dates. So a lot of times people are before a certain date, even government, you'll see it, they'll have a benefit because it's always easier to not start it with a new group of people than it is to end it for the previous group of people. Now, I do believe means testing. Also, on a questionnaire, does your employer provide medical care? So, what we're looking for is to only give it to the people that can't go in any other direction. But what happens with that is the hospitals will have to absorb the cost. I mean, even here in a conservative state, I walk into a hospital, I'm like, I'm used to the day where they go, give me your insurance. They look at it real quick, before they even let you in. But now, it's like, okay, when do I give my insurance? So they always start your care because they don't want people to think that they're not getting care. I mean, they won't always give them the best care because it might be just too expensive, but they'll give them what care they can afford. In some states, actually, you don't even do the insurance till the end, like Oklahoma. So you get care, uh, people get the care, and that's it. At a certain point, they find out. No, actually, no. I think they can't remember when they did it. I think it was at the end. Some states are at the end. They ask for your insurance. Actually, some hospital systems. I think the emergency room over there doesn't ask you for your insurance till it's complete. Yeah, till it's completely done. The emergency room over by Walmart, they don't even ask you if you have insurance. But the bottom line is that those people, the veterans, especially the combat veterans, they have, and a lot of them are disabled. They have a high level of need. I just found out, actually, make me a liar, but I actually could have had my massages paid for through VA. So all that money I put out didn't have to be put out. All the money I'm putting out now doesn't have to be. But I think Elon's going to chop the program. But I'm disabled, so I probably could still get it. Not disabled, not listed as high as I should be, but nothing I can do to fight the deep state in that regard. So what you do is you get it under control as far as, if you can go get healthcare somewhere else, go get it somewhere else. But if you can't, we'll keep you. And then what you do is nobody else qualifies. You actually have to have been a veteran prior to a certain date to receive that kind of care, which is maybe what the court is going to push anyway, because the court has to approve of all this stuff. Well, it's just like living in somebody's house and you have to evict them. So again, the court is going to say, even though wasn't intended to be a permanent program, you made it what appeared to be a permanent program. So people made decisions based upon that, and whatever else they argue. So what I would do would be, the first thing you should do is say we're ending it for any new participants. That's totally legitimate, totally lawful. That's the first thing you do. So that'll stop any additional people from moving into that program. Then you do your analysis as to what cost benefit. But because right now those people go to the VA. If they didn't go to the VA, they probably have a lot of issues with them. They'll end up at the local hospitals. People know I exist online, or is this some insight I'm receiving? I get do veterans hear me? I don't know how the world works. I've never had a normal life. When I did wake up, they restricted my access to people. That's how sick the Marshal Service was, the Justice Department, and all the criminal cronies. No, because I'm seeing veterans in my mind that I've known, and they're like attaboys or something. So one of the concerns is, again, who's running the program? I'm sure our enemies in the United States will want us to decrease our veterans' benefits. Again, there's this thing in the mind that's the enemies of the United States, and the people that attack veterans, whether they have another reason to do it or not, are listening to that thing. Again, there's a concern there. But I do understand that there could be people out there that have money and they're just going to save a buck. They're young, and they figure I'll just go to the VA for my health care, and they don't take advantage of the health care they can obtain with their finances, or even a boss, like having well, I got VA health care. I don't have to pay the $250 a month or whatever it is. Well, I can feel my body's trying to come back on. My back is actually trying to structure and make this work. But no, I went to massage because I was all screwed up. But I probably should have been massaged 2-3 years ago, and I did try, but the woman I used just didn't have strength. And again, I get weirded out when people come in and tell me to get naked. So she may have been deep state at that point. They had hired her on. That was like the same thing with that guy in Amarillo. He turned out to be like, I think, kind of massage prostitution, gay prostitution or something. I couldn't figure out whether he was a detective. Maybe it was the same thing. He's probably trying to figure out if I was a detective. He ended up not charging me anything because I didn't have any sex with him. But I was like, this guy a detective? Is he for real? But I was pretty sick, and I was heading that way this time. I'm not going to put up with it this time. I'll tell you. Again, it's not a threat for violence. I'm just going to move my oration and my magic, God's magic. If you'd done the right thing years ago, this never would have happened in my life. I just had a normal kind of life with, good people having a good life. And no matter where I went, everybody was warned not to be with me. So again, you can't make, and then they're paid. Some are paid operators at that point. Trying to think here. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm hearing from just the mind of public health. Public health service says that if some of the burden that they would normally have is over there in that VA care. So again, cost benefit. That just came up in my mind. I'm like, wow. But it sounds like public health service. But again, we have to be careful what we're doing when we cut. And this isn't Argentina. We don't just laugh when people starve, no matter how many rocket parties Elon wants to have with Vivek. No, it may take a while to get the budget under control, and that's okay because it's been out of control. Again, all the money spent on these wars, and then all of a sudden, what? You're going to blame it on veterans' benefits? No, I do agree with changing Social Security over to 401k, but it needs to be like the government 401k, where something structured the same way. We don't want people in there, trying to make money off of the average person who doesn't know what they're signing. So it has to be something very, very safe. Uh, they can invest anything over a basic deduction. And I guess once their basic, yeah, I don't know. We'd have to look at that. They maybe have to just build up a certain amount, and once they build up a certain amount, then we allow investment or voluntary deduction above the normal deduction. Something, but it has to be safe because we don't want people, losing all their money. There has to be a percentage that's retained. Now, remember, a lot of this money was being used for programs, other programs, funded a lot of other programs. So I'm not sure where all that money is and how that works, if it even exists anymore. So again, there's a lot of catch-22s. Once you deny somebody medical care, like I've actually been denied medical care by psychological operation and spy. And to tell you the truth, I told you years ago the Blue Cross Blue Shield stiffed me for $5,000. So, but I didn't hunt them. I just got very angry and moved on. And ended up paying the people when I could. We settled for something, since they were the ones that told me Blue Cross Blue Shield wasn't going to pay to begin with. I think it was a setup. I think it was deep state. Seminole County, Florida. So, once you deny people medical care on one hand, then you have more disability on the other hand. So you see, so down in Argentina, they're going to start seeing additional issues over what they even see. And again, this isn't Argentina. Argentina is a rather small country compared to the United States. And again, one of the easiest things to do is cut these frivolous, instead of cutting people support programs, which you do to a certain degree, because I realize that there's fraud, waste, and abuse. What it should cost is not what it's cost. We're playing overage. But I mean, there's non-essential programs all over the go. I've had disability for years. These people, I'm retired and all that, but these people knew I was disabled. So don't let them tell you some other bullshit. That's part of what they're paid to do, is increase the disability, make me more disabled. So again, the first thing you want to do is put a moratorium, put a date on it. Doesn't have to be any type of finality for the program. You just say, from here on in, anybody that retire or whether it gets out of the military they no longer qualify for that program. That's the first thing you do. Well, it's going to make a mess. I mean, because you don't even have the data from the program to know what you're dealing with. Well, what you have to do is you have to find out who can afford their own health care, who has been offered health care from an employer that's still using VA. Then you have to find out what we're looking at if the public health service and the hospitals have to pick up that load. Again, if we weren't wasting money on wars and everything else, we'd have plenty of money for people's health care. So let's not play that game. If we weren't flying rockets and have a big after party and all that, we'd have more money. Again, there's the climate crowd that has their little parties, and then there's the rocket crowd that has their parties. They talk about each other like the other one's ripping everyone off. Again, he's only one part of the rocket world. Well, essentially, defund the rocket program for now. Give it a few years, and then pick it up again. Only essential rocketeering, which would be, satellites and that kind of thing. I mean, it's insane to think that you're going to take VA benefits and fly rockets and have big parties on network television and everything else. Again, the last time we balanced the budget was, I think, 2001, and we weren't flying hardly anything up there. So again, these contractors want more money, which Elon is one of them, and Trump has promised him more money, but he's the one that's going to cut the budget and cut the benefits for veterans. I mean, it makes no sense. Again, what I'm telling you is going to end up in court. It's going to end up in court. They have standing to sue. There's people that have standing to sue. Yeah, some of this is from the future. I remember the judges continued DACA. I don't know if these judges will or not, but they said hands off. So again, the judges aren't stupid. You're out there flying rockets. You're out there, millions and millions of dollars in missiles. They know what you're doing, all of you. All of this could have been avoided. What you're doing is you're listening to Satan, who wants to burn up all the money for the people that they're being killed by the deep state to begin with. They get angry at benefits. They hate benefits. While they're killing somebody, benefits help somebody survive. And why do I say somebody? Because we are somebody. You're all actually nobodies. Got boosted by Satan and the criminal spies. That's how you make your money. Probably all cocaine and heroin dealers to begin with. Well, meanwhile, because you jerked me around in housing, I have an apartment without a bathtub, and I'm trying with my aches and pains to build a bathtub so I can take a warm bath. For all I know, this was the one they wanted me in. They already had it set up, it appears. Which means, ha ha, no bathtub. There's a kind of weirdness they're into. No, they just don't let you move into anything until you go to the one they want you to move into. I'm owed millions of dollars from the government and the private sector criminal cronies. Millions and millions of dollars. That's why what I say usually goes to a certain degree. All you had to do was pay me and let me live my life, and I wouldn't even have any way or sway over you. But then it wouldn't matter, would it? Meanwhile, people getting rich off of picking somebody to make a victim. Yeah, boss, there he is. We'll go get him for you, boss. Give us money. Yeah, money grubbers, man. All you gotta do is find money grubbers. That's who's in government. That's who billionaires are. The money grubbers. It's like they go, wow, look at all the riches we have today. You know what? People yesterday would be embarrassed to be that rich. They really would be. There's no big feat. It just means you're with Satan. Got no good to give. The rest, I'll leave that up to good Lord. He'll decide whether you have reason to live. Word is they found the underground forming. Now I have to yell at you so you don't make it so we have to protect you. Try to bring you into some semblance of normalcy. Thank you, Larry. And of course, the courts have asked. They remind me they've asked to not flood the courts so much. As far as woman, the pulse, I don't know. I mean, if she can extend, I don't think you can get any money. You might. The scuttlebutt is Trump might actually have to pay court costs in that scenario. I recommended against it because she's the pollster. It's way out, but it actually may. She can argue that the actual turnout was so high because she messed up the poll. I mean, I don't see how that's like if there was going to be a 13-point lead by Trump, how would that poll help? Because it would energize Republicans to get out there and vote. And some Democrats may have said, "Well, I'm not going out there. I don't need you. It's kind of cold out there." So again, I don't know what kind of judge you're going to get, but it may not work out. So again, this kind of thing causes friction. I can see you already, like 4 months, 5 months down the road, because the court case is not going your way or something. And maybe it will. I don't know. So I'm off on a tangent, as usual. But just be careful on what you're doing on trimming the government. Because, I'm for one, I'm not going to sit here a year later. We go, look what we did. I'm going to wait about 4 or 5 years and look what you did. But if Elon's really patriotic, I think he should trim his budget by quite a bit. If he really wants to save the country and save the budget, he could shut down most operations for a year or 2 years, maybe even 5 years. I don't know what to tell you. Doesn't make sense. So we're flying rockets around, but we're not going to feed people and try to get them health care because it ends up costing us money. Because you're going to have to. Okay, remember they're shutting down prisons, right? Why is that? We don't need them, right? What do you think's going to happen when you do what you're saying you're going to do? When you start starving people, when you start taking away VA health care, what do you think happens? You need more prisons. More expensive to run a prison than it is to give VA health care. It really is. VA health care and feed people. Once you arrest somebody, they become your responsibility. It's just the way the real United States works, not the Matt Gaetz United States. Some people, I know what they're doing. They're getting arrested just so they can eat and stay warm. We've been through this decades. Back when Elon was partying and doing shrooms and everything, we ended up arresting all these people. We tried it, and Trump just let a whole bunch of them go. We're only now starting to shut down some of the prisons. Like when I came on, that was the big thing. We need prisons in the BOP. So I opened Fort Dix, which is a new prison, 1,800 on each side. It was a crazy prison to run. Had very few security features other than the fence and all the alarms on the fence. So we opened up this massive warehouse, essentially. No, I'm sick with all the money I see them sending overseas and all the money we need here for people. As far as the wars, again, there's other reasons. Somebody came up with an idea of how the subsidy works. We subsidize other nations just so we can manipulate them away from something that we want to happen or something for ourselves. I guess oil or something. And again, I guess we have our pipeline running through Canada. Do we still do that from Alaska? Tar sands, all sorts of stuff. So again, this idea where Canada doesn't owe us anything is kind of BS. Or I mean, we don't owe Canada anything. I should say it the other way. It's kind of a mutual scam that the governments work out so the people don't get paid, but the big rich people get paid. That's what subsidies are. Elon's actually cutting into some, or I guess it's Trump that was speaking on. Trump's cutting into somebody's subsidy up there because we subsidize something, and then somebody in America makes money. Some big fat cat. So I'm like, oh wait a minute, my hotel's under that subsidy. Right, they could. Is there a Trump hotel in Canada? I don't know if there is. I can look it up. Well, they might not shut it down, but make it unbeneficial to Trump visitors. Let's see. Let's see. this one's permanently closed. Trump Hotel closed. Oh, maybe he pulled out. I pulled out my. He pulled out all his hotels, right? Oh wait, here's one. Oh, it's the one in British Columbia. Maybe he's mad because he lost his hotel there. Maybe he's mad because he lost his hotel there. I don't know. I can't find one. They filed for bankruptcy. Maybe he's mad. It's the Toronto. Maybe he has one there. He still has the one in Toronto. They can make it miserable for Trump hotels in Toronto. Now, I'm sure the subsidy helps you up there. Free trade helps you. Well, even Trump's making money up in Canada off of the free trade subsidies. So actually, maybe you're actually a recipient of that Canadian subsidy, here, Mr. Trump. Maybe cutting in your own business. So again, just be careful. Oh, Elon, okay, I understand, Elon. Go away. Maybe the blanket, Elon. He's asking me why am I not using Spaces because I can't broadcast the same time to everything else, and it doesn't have a built-in noise gate like I told you to put in there. Right. Person at my front door. I don't see anybody at my front door. It does sound better. I do admit Spaces has a nice sound to it. It's bassier. Kind of high fidelity sounding compared to a lot of other things. I guess maybe that's because it doesn't have the video feed that goes through it. So we'll see how it turns out for me. I just want, back to where I was. I have no idea what's happening. I mean, it's weird because it looks like it's trying to fix a little bit more than usual. So maybe something good will come from it. I don't know. They psychologically operated me away from surgery. There's no way I could wrap my head around it by what they were doing. Now, they were stalking me and Tyler. In the end, they would just come outside and sit in their vehicles and stare at me and stuff like that. Nah, they were scammers. They followed me too a couple times. They wanted me to see their vehicle as being part of staying there, and they backed it up so I could see the license plate. They're just bizarre. So they do veterans in this country. They make the enemies of veterans wealthy. Well, stay